Like, what did you do to go from 10K, 26K, 60K, 60K, and then boom, over 100 in 2017, that full year, almost doubled. Yes, you had time on your hands, but what else did you do differently?
I think I followed my mentors. I've had some great mentors over time, so I followed their advice. And one of them told me that I had to, I need appointments on my calendar every day. It's not something that if you don't have appointments, you're not seeing people or talking to people. I guess I wouldn't say appointments. I would say if you're not talking to people or have an appointment, something on your calendar, then then you're not doing what you need to do to be successful. And
Mm.
you have to give this 100%. You can't treat this like a part-time deal. I know you want to be a part of your kid's deal here. I know you want to be a part of your kid's deal there. Be with, go on a date now with your wife. You got to give some of those things up. You got to treat this like a full-time job and sometimes even more. But you have to give up those things for that shorter period of time to have the things that you want later on.
Hey, welcome back to the channel for another interview. Special guest today, my good buddy, man, all the way from Iowa, Mr. Jeremiah Tacker.
What's going on, Cody? How you doing, man?
I am great, buddy. So those who don't know Jeremiah, man, okay, so he's got over 100 writing agents on the final expense side that he works with and helps. He's writing millions a year in life insurance premium. Just an overall, like all around, really good dude, man. How did this all happen? Right? I mean, you probably didn't. There was probably a point in life years ago where you were like, I don't see myself, earning a bunch of money and helping a bunch of agents and doing this insurance thing. So what's the ride been like for you? How long you been in the industry and what's it look like so far?
Yeah, man. I've been in the industry for almost 15 years.
Wow.
It's hard to believe I look this good and still been in the industry for 15 years,
That's
but
right, bro. That's right.
but it can be done. So it can be done. You can still look good and be in here for a long time. But
Oh,
yeah,
man.
man, it's been a journey. It's a long story, and I'll narrow it down. But yeah, man, I was working retail when I got out of school. Graduated college with a degree, but working retail and, just was talking to my manager, was moving up the chain there. But, when I thought about it, I wanted to grow a family and be a part of my kids', events and be part of their deal. And I found out, in retail, you're working holidays, you're working weekends, it's hard to do that stuff. And so I actually jumped out and got into, I went down to an agency, that puts you in jobs. And so I went down to them. I filled out some stuff, did some computer tests and all that stuff. And about 6 months later, I got a job call, full-time job at an insurance company, Transamerica Life Insurance Company here in Cedar Rapids. So started out there and spent about 10 years there with them. Got licensed when I moved into the sales area in 2013, started doing it part-time. And then when I was let go from there due to my position moving over to Denver, and I couldn't make that move due to my family and some things in that regard, I jumped out into the insurance industry and started doing it full time. Was just killing it, and then got an offer from a good friend of mine that had an agency that was, this agency right here, the Personal Producer Network. He was, working on his last couple of years of retiring, and asked me if I wanted to take the opportunity to take over his agency. So I bought in, took it over. It was kind of failing. He wasn't putting much time into it. He was, working on retirement. And I came in and from 2017 on have really grown this from doing, like I said, just shy of $1 million in production to now I've almost, did that by 4 times. So we'll do almost 4 million this year. So it's been an interesting ride.
That's awesome, man. What was I mean, I'm guessing you weren't the dude on career day saying I want to be in insurance. What got your interest and attention for this industry?
Man, it happened way back in the day.
Okay.
So my father passed away when I was 8 years old.
Oh, wow.
He was I won't go into details, but he passed away when I was 8. And seeing my mom struggled because my dad had life insurance, but not a lot.
Mm,
The only thing that saved us was how that he passed away. We went through some legal stuff, and we got some money from that, which my mom shares that story with me today. I know more about it than I did then, but my mom struggled for a long time because my dad didn't have life insurance and left behind three boys and a wife.
mm,
So, going through that, we were able to have a decent childhood because of some legal things that happened after that. But, my mom tells me today that she would have struggled if it was just the life insurance that she had because my dad didn't have enough, even though he had some. She would have struggled. She would have struggled even more than what she did there. So, that as she shared that story with me as I got older, that just kind of resonated with me. And once I got into, fell into the insurance industry through, part-time work, and jumping on, it just resonated to me like maybe this is where I'm supposed to be, what I'm supposed to do. Then as more opportunities arose, I kept grabbing them and kept gravitating towards people like yourself and others that are doing well in this industry and wanting to help people and just
yeah.
finding myself doing the same stuff.
Yeah, and you had that personal experience that, there's a story that you can share and that you can help others and make sure that others are taken care of and protected, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, so how did it go? So you were at an insurance carrier, or the full-time job, then you went licensed 2013 part-time. How did it start out, part-time wise? And did having experience as a full-time job with a carrier actually help or not really?
Um, it did in a sense, but it kind of narrowed my vision because I once I got into the sales side of the insurance carrier, um, I was able to get licensed because I didn't have access to all the other systems that can like processing and things like that. So that allowed me to get licensed, but I was only allowed to write that insurance carrier, so I was kind of
Mm,
restricted.
yep.
So it did help me in a way because as growing up in that insurance carrier, I learned a lot about what an app goes through, what how the process works, and obviously writing that carrier, I had some inside friends, that I could work and get things through. Um,
Yes.
it totally changed though once I got away from the carrier and went out on kind of my own because I still had those connections, but I didn't have those with other carriers. So I had to learn other processes, other e-apps, get other connections. And so it helped me with that carrier specifically, but being so kind of restricted kind of hindered me a little bit. So until I got out and, left the job there or got terminated from there, getting out and doing it, independently, I learned so much more.
Yes.
There's so many more things that are involved in that than just being involved with that one carrier. So it was quite a learning experience once I got out and was strictly independent and did it on my own with multiple carriers.
Totally. And as you look back, man, what was the best way for you to learn all those additional items? I mean, that's kind of that knowledge and those pieces, those details really like can bog a lot of people down, and they want
Yes.
like certain personality styles. So, and you work with a lot of new agents. What did you do to like get up to speed quickly?
Yeah, it's how I teach it today. I start out with a handful of carriers or less.
Mm,
So I start out with just specific carriers that offer multiple products because it's the easiest way to learn and it gives you multiple facets to be able to take a client, not just restrict yourself to, just strictly final expense carriers. But if you run across a carrier, I'm not going to say any carrier names, but you run across carriers that have like multiple products. I try to that's how I learn myself is to just get maybe a guaranteed issue carrier, get maybe two or three carriers that have, a whole life product, a final expense, an IUL, a term product. That way, anything that I come across, I can help a client out. So I'm not restricted, but also I can learn those carriers specifically, um, using their e-apps, using those things, and then go from there. Once I have their e-app narrowed down, once I have their application narrowed down, once I have their underwriting narrowed down, then I move on and expand into other carriers from there.
yes, yes, that makes a lot of sense, man. Because I mean, so you would agree that you don't a brand new agent doesn't need 25 different carriers.
No, if an agent comes to me and says, I want, here's all the carriers that I offer you, I want all of them. I'm like, whoa,
Yes.
okay. Now here's my advice. And if they don't take it, then I'm like, maybe this isn't the right fit for us. Maybe, I can recommend you to somebody else that maybe can help you do that. But that's not the way I operate. I think
Yes.
it's going to hinder you more than help you. And I think I have a way that I've developed plenty of other high producing agents and that can work. And if you want to follow me, I'm more than happy. If you want to take it on your own and try to learn on your own, hey, that's not the way we operate. Maybe I can introduce you to somebody else that does do it that way. So again,
Yeah.
it's not everybody's not right for me. I'm not right for everybody else. I want to work with the people that want to work with me, how we want to work and how I've grown to be successful. And if you want to do that, I can show you. I can show you the door. You open it and let's go through it together, and we'll make a lot of money together.
That's good, man. I love that. And you have that heart for people, like naturally you want to help people. Before we get to like the production of your first year and like what those years look like, um, where's that piece come from? Like you've always been someone that I see as like always intrigued about what's going on. Um, you would you believe if you help people along the way, you'll just end up with what you need and what you want, like where's all that come from? Like I do strike you as a guy that, high integrity, morals, very reliable, compassionate. Like where's all that come from, you think?
Honestly, I think it comes from my dad passing so early. I was the oldest, so I
Mm,
felt I had to be, that caregiver, help my mom out, help my brothers out, and I just think that, that kind of just it trickled into what I do today. I look at, kind of it's kind of what do you want to say? Kind of not a catchy deal, but I kind of feel as I am the father figure over these agents, and they're looking to me for help. I've had a lot of agents come to me that have struggled in other areas, struggled with other people, and it's like, hey, I can help you if you're willing to listen and willing to do what I've done to be successful. And I think it just comes from there. I have that big heart, and I think that big heart was developed over time from just losing my dad at a young age and having to be there for those folks that needed me the most, my mom and my brothers. And it's trickled into here today, and I just like to see people succeed. I think it's the most rewarding experience if you see somebody succeed, even if it's not. I haven't, just one quick side note, I have an agent that came to me a couple years about a year ago, just struggling, man. He was out of the, getting ready to get out of the business, and I connected him with an agent that wasn't even with us. I couldn't help him. It was something that he wanted to take this route, and I wasn't able to do that for him. We weren't able just connecting, but he just if I had my Snapchat up, if I could share our conversation over Snapchat, which I can't, it's gone. But I reached out to him and I'm like, dude, it's amazing where you've gone in the last year. And he's like, yeah, I'm so blessed to met you. I'm so happy you introduced me to this agent, and he's taking him places. Dude's gonna do 20K this month. He said his
wow.
goal is hit 30K a month, and that's just, it's not even with me. Like, that's the thing. It's not even with me. Yes, I obviously
Wow.
want to help people and want them to stay with me, but if I can help you connect with someone that can truly help you, like him, we're still good friends. We still Snapchat together. We still share stuff, and he's doing awesome. I mean, 20K this month is
Cool.
great, and his goal is 30, and that kind of stuff just it just helps me feel alive, man. It's just so awesome to be able to do that for folks.
Yeah, that's special, man. Like you don't hear that a lot, like people they get their feelings hurt or they like, ruin relationships or they feel like everybody should just fit into their little box, but not everybody does,
No,
so
it's
that's
not the
cool.
case. Not the
Yeah.
case at all. And he was
Yeah.
one that didn't, but he's one that's killing it in this industry. And I'm
Cool.
sad he's not underneath me. But
Yeah.
I'm so happy for him and where he's gone, and look forward to him doing big things as we move forward. So it's cool.
Yeah, that's special. That's special. What did you start out jumping into final expense when you first went as an agent?
I did, man. I was a term and IUL guy.
Okay.
So yeah, I love the living benefits. I love the IUL. I like those niche things, this things that just are a little more complicated, take a little more learning, and because not everybody's willing to put in the work to learn some of those things. I mean, it
True.
takes a lot to understand an IUL and how it works, and what it can do for people, and a lot of people are willing to do that, and it's not nothing against them, but that's the stuff that I like to do and that I fell in love with. But final expense is such a unique industry in itself that I wanted to be a part of that and help those folks that want to do final expense as well. So
Yes, yes, and is that what the Personal Producer Network really focuses on from a niche standpoint?
we do mostly final expense. So it's about 75-80% of our business. Again, we're starting to grow a little bit more in the term and IUL space because that's where my unique skill set is. But I do have a final expense background as well. So I've done multiple policy on final expense. I've learned it. I know how to do it, know how to sell it, know what to do when it comes to doing that. But an IUL is unique. You run across a couple of unique folks that can do that, and I like to work with those folks that want to learn that and want to do that as well, especially with living benefits too on the term. I mean, there's a need for all of it, and I've been fortunate enough to be able to do all of it. So
cool. And what did your when you were part-time? What did those next couple of years look like? Like, what was the first few months, the first few weeks, the first year, actually selling?
Oh man, 2013. I don't know if I can say this on here, but it was a little bit like hell in a nutshell, I guess. If I can say that.
Yes, yes.
It was, man, I am very fortunate that I ran across a very good mentor here in my hometown that he just wouldn't let me give up. There are times where I walked into his office, he would call me, "Are you coming in today?" I'd be like, "No," and he, "Get your butt in here. We're going to do this," but it was not good, man. I struggled. I was horrible. I was like, man, is this really for me? Should I just go back to working full time at my job and not doing it? But people hanging up on me, screwing up on my script. I'm one of those guys that I have to be perfect. I feel like I have to be perfect on everything. Even videos I shoot, I feel like they need to be perfect. And I hear from all you guys all the time, just shoot them bedhead and all. Who cares what you're in, hat on, bedhead, whatever it is, just shoot your video. If you have something to say it. I'm one of those guys that wants to be polo on and looking good and professional video and that. And so that kind of hindered me. And he had to share with me, like, dude, you're going to mess up. You're going to screw up. There's going to be challenges. I'm not going to let you quit. And he didn't. The first year was horrible. Second year, 2014, I did probably 25,000 in business. I don't think I did even 10,000 in business my first year. Like it was horrible. Like I didn't give enough time to it.
Less than 10,000 your first year?
Yeah, my first year. Like I didn't.
Wow.
Yeah, in 2013, there were times I called him a lot of times and was like, "I'm not coming in today." He would tell me to get my butt in there, and I just wouldn't go. And so I didn't write very many policies. It was.
How did you survive?
Well, full-time job. So I still had a full-time.
Oh, you were part-time while you had a full-time
job. Yes. So 2013, I was part-time. So I did, part-time, I did less than 10K, but it kept growing. I stuck with it. He wouldn't let me quit. I think my next year I did about a little over 26 or 27K. Again, these are all off the top of my head going back almost 10 years now.
Jeez.
2015, I think I doubled that. So I did almost 60K. And then 2016, I think I did right around 60K again. And then 2017 in March, that's when my job was moved. And so I think I had like 15K through March, end up doing, the rest of it. So what was that? 85K over the next from March on, 85K. So I just did,
about 100?
Yeah, a little over 100. I think it was close to kind of 105, 107,000. My first wasn't my first full year, but my first 9 months full time in the industry, I did, probably a little over 85K, which put with my part-time stuff earlier, ended about 105, 107 for my first year. So then from there, this happened. So I got in 2018 with the Personal Producer Network and kind of went from there. So.
Wow. That's crazy, dude. That's nuts.
It's a ride. And I'll tell you, it was not easy. It was difficult. I was missing, which really hit me. That's my first year out, part-time. I'd go in after 5:00. And you want me to do dials. You want me to go on appointments. And, I'm missing I'm missing my kids' baseball games. I'm missing, time with my wife. I'm doing all these things, and I wanted those things. I wanted that faster than it was coming. I wanted to be a part of
Yes.
all that stuff faster than it was coming, and didn't realize that I had to give up those things for just a small amount of time.
Mm.
Now, I have time to do any of that. I have all the time in the world to do any of that stuff. So I gave up a few years of missing those things to be where I am today. Now I haven't missed. I don't think I've missed one of my son's games for several years now. So
Good
it's
for you.
one of those things that you just have to give it up for a little while. Give up those things for a little while to get back all of the time that you kind of gave up back then, and now I have it going forward. So
Yeah. You kept a part-time job for several years.
yeah, until 2017. So about three and a quarter years.
Okay. If you had to go back, would you go full-time sooner?
Heck yes. I would hit the industry full time just right off the bat. I wouldn't have,
Okay.
knowing what I know now. Now you think about it, and you did 10K in the first year. Would you have survived? Probably not. But I think about it now, like knowing what I know now, like give up those small things for the time I have now and the success I have now. Yes, if I could have had it sooner, I would definitely go back.
Yeah. Yeah, because you kind of drug it out for several years.
I did. I drug it out for way longer than most people do.
But you stuck with it.
I did. And I blame, I'm not, hope my wife doesn't see this, but I kind of blame her. She had I'm more of the, let's go do it. She's more of the thinker and planner, like, well, how are we going to do this? That type of thing. So just knowing her concerns, I kept my full-time job for longer than I probably would have being alone, or being with her. But, then again, it all works out in the way that God wants to. And this is the way it's working out for me. But if I can go back and help anybody understand what this industry can do for them, if they just jump in and put all in,
Totally.
it's amazing things, man. So do it as soon as you possibly can.
I love that. That's such good advice. That's why I wanted to go that direction. What advice would you give? Like, what did you do to go from 10K, 26K, 60K, 60K, and then boom, over 100 in 2017, that full year, almost doubled. Yes, you had time on your hands, but what else did you do differently?
I think I followed my mentors. I've had some great mentors over time. So I followed their advice, and one of them told me that I had to, I need appointments on my calendar every day. It's not something that if you don't have appointments, you're not seeing people or talking to people. I guess I wouldn't say appointments. I would say if you're not talking to people or have an appointment, something on your calendar, then you're not doing what you need to do to be successful. And you have to give this 100%. You can't treat this like a part-time deal. I know you want to be a part of your kid's deal here. I know you want to be a part of your kid's deal there. Be with, go on a date now with your wife. You got to give some of those things up. You got to treat this like a full-time job, and sometimes even more. But you have to give up those things for that shorter period of time to have the things that you want later on. And that was probably the best advice I was given is you have to continue to treat this, whether you just go and move yourself from a full-time job, you have to treat it like it's a full-time job, and even more in the beginning, and continue to work it every day. Get better, learn, read. I still watch your YouTube videos on the daily, man. Every day, I'm still, you know how many things I picked up from watching Ultimate Agent, that type of stuff. Just being a part of those things and hearing those mentors talk to those guys. There's new stuff I'm trying every day. Just because I know this industry is one that you have to learn and adapt. I mean, this is a changing industry every day. It changes all the time. I mean, just think about it. How many, 2-3 years ago, how many people were doing e-apps, man? There wasn't a whole lot of that stuff going on. Now it's like the thing. If you're not doing e-apps, then why? People are like, why are you
like
not doing
ancient? Yeah.
Like, why are you doing paper? And it's 2 or 3 years ago. I mean, that's a short amount of time. So this is all, I'm always learning, always adapting. I'm always picking up from events like yours, events like, any event that I go to, I'm talking to people, figuring out what they're doing, finding out how they're successful and what they do, and who they're following on YouTube, who they're following with podcasts, who they're listening to, and picking up new things every day. Because
Yes.
I know that you have to continue to learn to be successful in this industry. If you stick with one thing, it's gonna, you're gonna have to adapt and grow out of that eventually. It's not gonna always work for you 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road. Just like people that thought they were gonna write paper forever, not happening now. People that thought they were always gonna have to carry around an underwriting guide with them, not happening now. You got different tools that can help you out with those things and can make your job so much easier. So I think those are the biggest things, that you're always learning and adapting in this industry, and being a part of any event that you can go to, whether it's NAFA, whether it's, your events, whether it's, anything that you can get involved in that has from 5 agents to 2,000 agents. Get involved and talk to people, and don't be afraid to share things that you've learned. Don't be afraid to take in advice that they're going to share with you.
Yes. Yes. Dude, such good advice, man, for someone that's got such a vast array of experience in this space. I mean, you went slow for years, and now you've went fast for several years, right? And you've accomplished a lot, but you've proven what you can accomplish in a span of 4 or 5 years if you just really get serious about it.
Exactly.
Which is so cool. Dude, if they want to reach out to you, learn more from you, connect with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Man, reach out. You can get on our website. So go to our website. It's www.tppnamerilife.com. Go ahead and check that out. You can reach out to me, man. My cell phone is always available. So my personal cell phone number, 319-721-4212. Hit me up. You can shoot me a text. You can shoot me a phone call. I'm always interested to if you just want to reach out and chat about what you've been doing. I'm not always looking to recruit people that call me, or I just want to learn and chat with you. If if you're interested in working with me, more power to you. If you just want to chat and learn something from me, great. But if you call me and want to learn something from me, expect I want to learn something from you too. So don't call and try to take all my knowledge. I want to take some of your knowledge as well. All right. So that's you gotta give and take there. It's a two-way street, and I'm willing to share mine, but I want to learn from you too. So if you want to call and talk to me, I'll be willing to share as well. So I'm always looking for those fun phone calls. So
boom. I love that. Jeremiah Tacker, thanks for being a good dude. Thanks for sharing all your wisdom today. And I appreciate you being on the channel. You're awesome.
Appreciate you having me, man. Thanks, Cody.
Thank you, brother. Those listening, man, thank you so much for watching. Give Jeremiah some love in the comments below. Definitely text him, reach out to him, let him know what you're thinking, and we'll see you on the next interview. Adios. Hey, if you enjoyed this, I got another one you're gonna love. It's right there. Click on it. See you in there. If you had to put in like 3 tips based around how anyone can sell thousands of dollars a week without having to spend money, they're getting creative, they're working referrals, whatever. I don't know what advice you got, but is there 3